O you who disbelieve, retaliation is prescribed for you in the manner of those who have been murdered. The free man for the free man, and the slave for the slave, and the female for the female. And for he who is forgiven to some degree by his brother, prosecution according to usage and payment to him in kindness. This is a relief and a mercy from your Lord. He who transgresses after this will have a painful doom. And there is life for you in retaliation, O men of understanding, that you may fear Allah. So let's look at this retaliation stuff. So we're looking at 178. Okay, so this phrase here, a free man for a free man, a slave for a slave, and a female for a female, this sounds like an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Now, a lot of people don't realize that this concept of an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, Mahatma Gandhi said, an eye for an eye just leaves the whole world blind. Mahatma Gandhi was an idiot, okay? I mean, I'm not going to say he was, maybe he wasn't an idiot, but he's wrong on this, okay? An eye for an eye means you cannot give a punishment that does not fit the crime. So if somebody plucks out your eye, you can't kill them, right? It doesn't necessarily literally mean if a guy plucks out your eye, you pluck out his eye. What it means is that you can't kill him for that, right? Or if somebody steals a small amount of money, you can't throw them in prison for a year, right? The punishment has to fit the crime, okay? Otherwise, it's not justice. Let's see here. So I'm going to read here in the commentary what it says about the law of retaliation. A law establishes the law of retaliation, qisas, for murder. Equal recompense must be given for the life of the victim, which can take the form of blood money, diya, a payment to compensate for the loss suffered. In Islamic law, Sharia, the amount of compensation varies depending on the religion of the victim. Non-Muslim lives simply aren't worth as much as Muslim lives. Reliance of the Traveler, a Sharia manual that Cairo's prestigious Al-Azhar University certifies as conforming to the practice and faith of the Orthodox Sunni community, says that the payment for killing a woman is half of that to be paid for a man, and for killing a Jew or a Christian, 1/3 that paid for killing a male Muslim. Interesting. The Iranian Sufi Sheikh Sultan Hussein Tabinda, one of the architects of the legal codes of the Islamic Republic of Iran, explains why the life of a non-Muslim is worth less than that of a Muslim. And punishment for other crimes differ as well, depending on whether the perpetrator is a Muslim or not. If a Muslim commits adultery, Tabana explains, his punishment is 100 lashes, the shaving of his head, and 1 year of banishment. He is referring, of course, to a Muslim male, not to a Muslim woman who commits adultery, who would in all likelihood be sentenced to, in Tabinda's Iran, to be stoned to death. But if the man is not a Muslim, Sabinda continues, and commits adultery with a Muslim woman, his penalty is execution. The difference in treatment between Muslims and non-Muslims carries over to other areas as well. If a Muslim kills a Muslim, he is to be executed. But if he kills a non-Muslim, he incurs a lesser penalty. Similarly, if a Muslim deliberately murders another Muslim, he falls under the law of retaliation and must by law be put to death by the next of kin. But if a non-Muslim who dies at the hand of a Muslim has by lifelong habit been a non-Muslim, the penalty of death is not valid. Instead, the Muslim murderer must pay a fine and be punished with lash. Tabenda explains this disparity as arising from basic principles of Islam, since Islam regards non-Muslims as on a lower level of belief and conviction. If a Muslim kills a non-Muslim, then his punishment must not be the retaliatory death, since the faith and conviction he possesses is loftier than that of the man slain. Again, the penalties of a non-Muslim guilty of fornication with a Muslim woman are augmented because in addition to the crime against morality, social duty, and religion, he has committed sacrilege and that he has disgraced a Muslim and thereby cast scorn upon the Muslims in general, and so must be executed. Tabenda's conclusion follows naturally from all this. Islam and its peoples must be above the infidels and never permit non-Muslims to acquire lordship over them. Well, that sucks. So he has a footnote here. He has actually several. So he has footnotes for footnotes. So these are 77, 78, and 77 through 80. So I'm going to quote those sources here. So 77 through 80. Okay, these are all the same source. Sultan Hassan Tabenda, a Muslim commentary on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, translated by J.F. Golding, 1970. So, yeah, there's a source. There's a source for the source. If you guys have any questions or if you understand better about this issue, leave a comment below. Are Muslim lives worth more than other lives? That's disturbing. I feel like that's I feel like that contradicts this. Let's find out if the Tafsir says the same thing. Therefore, as determined the Sharia, the Qisas is punishment for killing or wounding in which the principle of equality or likeness is taken into full consideration. So this talks about blood money. Okay, here. The free for the free, the slave for the slave, and the female for the female was abrogated by the statement life for life. However, the majority of scholars agree that the Muslim is not killed for a disbeliever whom he kills. Al-Bukhari reported that Ali narrated that Allah's messenger said, the Muslim is not killed for the disbeliever whom he kills. No opinion that opposes this ruling could stand correct, nor is there an authentic hadith to contradict it. However, Abu Hanifa thought that the Muslim could be killed for a disbeliever, following the general meaning of Ayah 545. The four Imams, Abu Hanifa, Malik, Shafi'i, and Ahmed, and the majority of the scholars stated that the group is killed for one person whom they murder. Umar said about a boy who was killed by 7 men, if all the residents of Sana'a, capital of Yemen today, collaborated on killing him, I would kill them all. No opposing opinion was known by the companions during that time, which constitutes, okay, but that's talking about is like 7 people kill one guy, all 7 people are supposed to die. But this is the part that's disturbing. Right here. No, this right here. The Muslim is not killed for the disbeliever whom he kills. Wow. That, I just feel like that goes against the entire spirit of this. So be aware. I mean, be aware of that. I mean, that's, you know, if a Muslim kills you, there's not necessarily capital punishment for him under Sharia law. That's rough. That's really rough. I can't believe that.